Welcome back everyone to the channel where we fearlessly empower others to reach their full potential. Today, you haven't noticed, I'm wearing one of my Hawaiian shirts because we are going to learn how to be conflict conquerors, but we are going to learn how to master team harmony. And so this act, in today's world, people are avoiding conflicts and they are, please don't grow. Please don't grow into a bigger problem. Avoidance and putting problems underneath the rug are not going to solve them. Hoping that they will disappear is never going to solve any of your conflicts. So whether a personal conflict or a conflict on your team, conflict is inevitable, but it is healthy if we learn how to communicate. And if you follow this channel, we've been giving you tips. Feel free to share any conflicts you have in the comments. I would be happy to share some tips of recommendations of how I would solve those conflicts in a future episode. But I challenge you, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. The ability to manage conflicts will be the medicine that will heal all the ails that are our team, and it will prevent the drama. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." This illustrates the power of the word, which we've already covered. This illustrates the power of building a connection so you can effectively communicate. We have to do this to diffuse the conflict before it explodes. So, the story I'd like to share is in a former office where I was in charge. I saw several of my team members going at each other's throats, and they would gossip about one another. They would talk badly about one another, whether it was something that they couldn't do, whether it was about their work ethic, whether it was about their skill level, why can't they learn fast enough, etc. Well, I could have just sat on the sidelines and watched my team implode, but as godly leaders, we know that we have to get involved, and since our purpose is always to fearlessly empower others, of course I got involved. Of course, we sat down and we started to clear the air and set the conditions where people felt like they could openly communicate, but we had to get through some things in the beginning. So let's go through and discuss some of the conflict management styles that you can have and what are the benefits, but maybe not so much benefits of the 4 styles. First is avoidance. If the issue is minor and not worth the time and the effort, it may be good to avoid it at that situation, because if emotions are running high, it may not be the time to address the issue, because people may not be coming to the table with their adult brain to have an adult conversation. They may be coming with a more childish mindset, a very immature way, and it will only escalate if you were to confront them at that point. So the other part is the person who has the issue may not they feel like they have the authority or the openness to address it at that time. The second one is accommodation. This is when addressing the issue is not more important than maintaining a mutually beneficial relationship and letting it go, or accommodating the person because the relationship is more important. Next is compromise. This is when you do not have time. Both people have something to lose and something to gain. So a short-term solution is to compromise where both parties are gaining something, but they're also losing something. The highest form, and where every team, we want to create an environment to where we can collaborate. This is so very important. This is where everybody's input and expertise is valued. It is put in. It is a long-term solution finding way. And both sides are committed to finding mutually beneficial solutions. Let's put 5 steps to put God into our conflict management. And this is something you can do to not just for yourself, but help others do this to work their way through those different conflict management styles. First, address the issue. This is before the issue explodes. Diffuse it. Get it, if both sides are not emotionally charged and then you're not pressed for time, directly address it. Because the sooner you address it, the smaller the problem is. Because if you let that fester, it's going to be one heck of an explosion. It's going to lead to a lot of drama and a lot of false impressions, a lot of false perceptions. So what Proverbs 25:9 says, if you argue your case with a neighbor, do not betray another's confidence. Okay? So when you do it, be honest with what you're sharing, but share it from the heart that you are just trying to find a solution to this. Your key part in doing this is listen to understand. Wow, you're starting to notice a trend. You need to listen with trying to understand the other person's perspective. It's critical to actively listen. So talk less, listen more, and this can lead to a more productive communication session. James 1:19 says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to become angry." If you are listening to understand, you are not going to be quick to anger because you're not just there to prove your side. Next, be respectful. This means no matter how much this person angers you, no matter how much this person frustrates you, you need to ensure you put your emotions in check. You need to be the more mature one at the table, using your adult communication to help maintain that positive working relationship. And this will prevent future conflicts because the person will know no matter how much that they frustrated them, you are the agent, you are the change agent that you want to see. And they will model that in future conflicts. 1 Peter 2:17 says, "Show proper respect to everyone. Love the family of believers, fear God, and honor the emperor." You always are showing respect no matter what. Focus on solutions more than the problem. If you just keep nitpicking each other on the problem, you're never going to find a solution, and it will become a blame game. It'll become a, this will never work, and that person will just grow and fester and it will explode on the team. Philippians 2:4 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself." If you value others above yourself, much like last week when we were talking about loving, okay, that is putting others' desires and needs before your own. That is a higher level, that's a higher say, do, act, where you put others before yourself. That doesn't mean you are putting in service, and that is what God has called us to do. Next, you're never going to be perfect at this, so follow up. See that both parties satisfied. So when I was addressing that conflict in my work center, we tried to find a collaborative solution. We had to create some compromises at first. We had to tell some people, let's go ahead and accommodate here, let's avoid here, until emotions kind of scaled down. But then we were able to get everybody to the table and try to find and ask a better question. Everybody had to listen and find a collaborative answer, and the team started to thrive. So follow up and see how you can continually do better. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ forgave you." Now for this week's personal exercise for yourself, identify a conflict you have been avoiding. Trust me, every single person who watches this video has a conflict or a person they are avoiding today. Write that down. Make that your conflict. Use the conflict management steps. So first, address the issue. Listen to understand. Be respectful. Focus on solutions and follow up to ensure that the solution was satisfactory. Now reflect on that. Take some time and say, Did I use the right conflict management process? Were there any steps that I skipped or were really hard to do? Always try to establish yourself as a lifelong learner, and then you will go into it from a perspective that you're trying to learn and try to foster a culture where it's open communication and you can honestly be dialogue. Ask a trusted friend or colleague, what could you have done better? Now, the team exercise. Share a person, kind of spread yourself into smaller teams, share a personal conflict, and then identify what would be the different communication, conflict management styles you would use and the impact it would have had on the issue. Now, discuss a hypothetical solution that happens on your team. So if it's a lot of people not avoiding conflicts, let's just go with that one. You will role play in those teams and figure out how each conflict management style would negatively or positively address that issue depending on what the scenario is. And then as people are role playing that, have the rest of the teams following up and providing feedback how each person could have done better in that conflict. Bottom line, conflicts are unavoidable. If you avoid them, they will become bigger. So diffuse them when they are small so that way they don't explode in everybody's face. Remember, address them directly, listen, understand, be respectful, focus on solutions, and follow up for a mutually satisfactory result. If we can do this, we can create a drama-free team and focus on values that really focus on open communication and positive working relationships. Remember, may you have a blessed day, may you have a blessed week, and never forget to fearlessly empower others.